So I am pretty excited about this particular session, and let's start. And first of all, I'd like to have a disclaimer that I'll be asking a lot of questions to you guys. They won't be difficult at all. It would be some basic questions and some fundamental questions. So let us keep this interactive. So today's session is all about generative AI and the foundation models. So the agenda for today's session is starting with the introduction. What is generative AI? What are the foundation models that we have? Apart from that, what is the architecture behind the foundation models? Like, okay, there are foundation models, but how is it made? What is the basic architecture or the main architecture behind the foundation models? What are the key capabilities of foundation models? What can they as foundation models do and help humans solve the other problems? Next, we have the applications. Okay, where can we use them? Next, the risk and ethical concerns. Okay, like these are the foundation models. With the increase of AI, what are the risk and ethical concerns that we can have, and how can we prevent them from happening? And next would be the future of foundation models. So, before moving forward, I would just like to introduce myself. Many of you may know me, but for someone who does not know me, myself Aditya, I have been creating content over YouTube for almost 4 years now. I have a YouTube channel with the name Coding Adda, and it's like life has come a full circle because I have started my channel right here, right from this college. So I started back in 2022. It was 5th June. I created my first video. And apart from that, I have been hosting podcasts. I have been hosting guests from all over India right now, and some of guests from apart from India as well. And I've been talking about with entrepreneurs, with developers, with testers, with business people on how can they help guide my audience. And apart from that, I have also been a teaching faculty at Static and Educare, which is a startup. And one of my students is right there behind the camera shooting the entire session for today. And yeah, let's start with the introduction. What are foundation models? So this is a question that I'll be asking you. You all have been using generative AI since 2006. Can you tell me what it is? Okay. I mean to say you have been using it regularly, almost regularly. Just put up any random answer if you can remember. Sorry. Okay. Gmail. Okay. Anyone else? Spam recommendations. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. So you must have been very familiar with the symbol. What it is? It's Google Translate. So this is one thing. And how many of you are Apple users here? No one. Okay, so for the Apple users, there is something that they use a lot, Siri. For Android users also, there is something called OK Google. So this is generative AI that we have been using since 2006. Then why is everyone telling right now कि AI है भाई AI पढ़ो AI करो ये करो वो करो? Why is there been a fuss all about? So what is the fuss all about? Since it has already been there and we have been using it since 2006, why is everyone concentrating on using generative AI right now? Correct. Anyone else? Okay. So this is a date where something big had happened. And after this, it has actually changed the era, or it has actually, we can say, revolutionized how we as developers or how different industries work. Can anyone just guess what has happened on this date? It's something big that has happened. Correct. 30th November 2022 was when a company called OpenAI launched something called ChatGPT. Initially, it was owned by Elon Musk, and now Sam Altman has taken it over. And now we know the rest is history. Like before ChatGPT, I would personally share one thing. Like when I was in college, we had some mini projects, major projects to build. So there was whenever I used to face some errors, I would just go through the Stack Overflow history, and it would actually take me 2 3 hours to get a single bug or solution for that. But after this, it's just like, hey, ChatGPT, give me the error in this code. I have been using this compiler and this is the node version that I'm using. So now, as we know, the rest is the history. So, a question to everyone. What do you think is generative AI? Features are generated. Next, you can try. Rather it be wrong, it's no worries. Okay. So let's break it down into two things. Let's not talk generative AI as whole. Let's talk about what is generative first. So I have broken down this thing into two parts, generative and AI. What do we mean by generative is create new content. And at this point of time, the type of content that we have is in various forms. It can either be text, it can either be image, it can either be code, it can either be video and audio as well. Video and audio have been introduced right now, and people have been using and creating content over those particular data types right now. So, generative means creating new content. And what do we mean by AI? Automatically using a computer program. AI is basically anything that we are creating and we want to automate that stuff using a computer program. So together we say, what does generative AI mean? It means we are creating a new content automatically using a computer program. Moving forward, let's talk about traditional AI. Let's not get into what generative AI is first. Let's talk about what is traditional AI. So traditional AI is something which we call as weak AI. Taking a very easy example, we have Rahul over here. I hope no one's name is Rahul, right? So we have Rahul over here, who is a skilled worker who is trained to do one job very well. Okay, and let's take a real life example of us sitting in this room. You as faculties are trained to do one job very well, which is like teaching students and mentoring them. So we come under traditional AI. If someone asks us that you have given a task to fly an airplane, we can't do that. We have to actually take a training, go through that thing, and then fly the plane. So, as I said, traditional AI is weak AI. What does it do? It basically uses rules-based design systems, decision trees, and machine learning algorithms to make decisions. Meaning, we have certain rules and certain design systems that are associated with traditional AI, and it uses decision trees and all the ML algorithms to make decisions. Very simple example is email spam filter, because if we get all the emails on our Google, it would be like the storage would be full only by the emails rather than the Google photos. So what does it do? It has certain rules, correct? Like let's say I am getting an email from abc@xyz.com. It's actually not on my email list, or it is actually not a trusted email. So when we check into any spam emails, when we log in on our Gmail, we get an option. I know the sender, not a spam. So that means when we click on I know the sender, what happens is it tells it that okay, this is a trusted email. So hence the next emails that are being sent to this particular user from this ID, please don't put it in the spam folder. Instead, put it in the inbox folder. So this is basically how it works. Initially, all we have is the input data. After the input data is given, this is where the processing is done. Now, what happens exactly in processing is, let's say we are giving it a data which is in the form of a CSV file. It has rows and columns. There are certain rows and there are certain columns which we actually don't need. Let's say we are having a CSV file of an employee data, and by default it generates an SR number, serial number from 1 to let's say 100. So we don't need the serial number for training our ML model, right? Because that is not actually what we need. We need the employee name, employee ID. Let's say we are using email IDs or number. So that is the actual important data that we want to train the model on. So that's where the processing is done, where we remove all the unwanted rows and unwanted columns, and also add up the values where we have zeros. Like there are, let's say, 10,000 CSV, not 10,000 CSV, 10,000 rows. And in certain columns and in certain rows there are values which are zeros. What we do is we replace them so that we get a full data to train the model on. And then we have the rules and decision trees. The rules are been defined based on the different use cases for each and every particular model. And then after all this thing is done, processing and rules and decision trees, we get the output. Now let's jump into generative AI. Obviously, that one is strong. This one, sorry, that one is weak. This one would be strong. Now, consider, okay, this is a bit darker image, but consider here we have a worker who has the capabilities to do everything. It's like he can draw as well, he can code as well, he can ride a plane as well. Actually, that is not possible at this point of time. But considering a hypothetical human who can do anything. So we say generative AI is a strong AI. It uses neural networks and deep learning algorithms to learn pattern and relationships between data. So it understands, okay, this has this relationship between these two words. So that's where we give the context. That's where context comes in the world of AI. Because if you go into ChatGPT, you must have seen, you just give it an output, it understands the, you give it an input, it understands, okay, this is the context that the user wants the response in. So how does it understand the context? Internally it uses neural networks and deep learning algorithms. Now, a simple example is generating an image from a text. You give it a text like, okay, give me a farmer who is farming on Mars. So it will actually give you an image. Like a farmer is there, he's farming it on Mars. So how does it work? It basically works where we have an encoder. Encoder is in the form of neural network. Then this is basically, we can say, the input that we have. Next, after we have the encoder, it has a latent space. That's where the main and important part of generative AI, Gen AI, works. What happens over here is we have vector representation. Anyone has any idea what are vector representations? Anyone? Sorry? Huh. Correct. Correct. It's just that what we have understood it in maths and physics. So what happens over here is we have given an input. Okay. What it does is it converts it into zeros and ones. Because right from the time we come into college and right from the time we choose computer as our first subject, we are taught computers does not understand English, Hindi, Marathi, Sanskrit, Telugu, anything. It only understands zeros and ones. So that is what is done over here. We have an input, then it is converted into a vector representation, only in the form of zeros and ones. The values that we have over here, it is between 0 and 1, like 0, 0 0.01, 0 0.05, 0 0.5, 0 0.83 till 1. After this is done, next we have the output generation, where the prompts that we give, it understands the context and gives us the output. So GenAI, it is a type of AI that can generate new original content such as images, music. Music also at this point of time we can generate from a given text. It's like a creative artist who can come up with new ideas and concepts. And just to give you a disclaimer, this image is also generated using GenAI. I just gave the entire prompt, this as the prompt, generate an image for this. So you will find a lot of images in this particular presentation which are generated by ChatGPT. So I have reduced, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That can be done while you can enhance your prompt more. Like, okay, I want this particular word to be highlighted at this point of time, or I want this particular word to be in this particular color, or the boldness should be more. Obviously, these models are not accurate models. They also hallucinate at a certain point of time because obviously that is a computer program. It cannot be actually that perfect unless and until you fine tune it, which I'll be talking about in the later slides. Hmm. Yeah, it's like sometimes it hallucinates because if you go to ChatGPT, it also tells, okay, it processing image. There are a lot of people who are using this, generating this image. It may take time because you might have observed recently a trend on Ghibli images was very viral, and Sam Altman had tweeted, "Guys, please stop using or reduce the number of images you generate. It is causing our GPUs to burn." So that's where the problem lies because you are giving a lot of prompt and it has almost 100 million plus users every day who are using it. So think about the computational power and the number of requests that are being made to generate images over there. Text for text to image, I'm not exactly sure about it, but it uses a concept called stable diffusion. There is a concept on stable diffusion, which is basically used to generate images from a given point of text. There is a complete application that is created, which is called Comfy UI. I'll be also explaining about Comfy UI further. So that is what is used for basically generating images. And there are many different models that are basically fine tuned to generate images based on the type of image that you like. Let's say you want a comic image, you want a 3D image, you want, let's say, a image which is from dinosaur era. So there are certain models which are basically trained on that, and the core concept behind generating image is stable diffusion. So why GenAI is now required now? It's basically a result of three major technological breakthroughs. The first thing is data explosion. Within the past years, we see there are high volumes of data, and the sources are like inevitable. There are many sources. One is Reddit, one is GitHub, we have X, which is Twitter, and YouTube. These are like the sources where we have huge amount of data in different formats. So the first reason is data explosion. You can consider this with a real life example as teaching a student who has read every book in a massive library. Let's say a library has 10,000 books and each book is around 250 pages long. Consider you are teaching a student who has read all the books and has knowledge of all the TED Talks that are available on YouTube. So that was the first thing. Talking about the second thing, we have the compute power, as ma'am said. Compute power has increased a lot and companies are investing more on the compute power. Here we have high performance GPUs and TPUs such as Nvidia and Google. And just to tell you, after ChatGPT was launched, after ChatGPT, and there is a website called Kling AI, which is also used for image to video generation. This particular company has skyrocketed. Like people are investing more into semiconductors right now because it's like they acted as a middleman between the developers and the MNCs. They're like, okay, you want to generate or create AI? Okay, you are providing the platform to use it. Okay, I'll provide the resource to use it. So earlier we just had CPUs. Next, now we are more progressing over GPUs and TPUs. There was a video that Jensen Huang had posted. It was like they are creating an image. First thing that they have is a giant CPU, which is they have a giant shooter, which is powered by a CPU. So if you see, it just shoots one by one, like frame by frame, point by point. And the next thing it does is it uses a GPU, wherein it actually creates the entire picture of Mona Lisa just by shooting all the balls at once. So this is a compute power. Here we can think of it like giving an AI a supercharged brain and a 10,000 core processor. Okay. And the third thing is transformer. Transformer is the core reason behind the boost and the boom of AI for AI. It was introduced in 2017 and then it replaced old models like RNN, LSTMs for sequential understanding. Does anyone know who introduced transformer? Any idea? Because that company has played a very major role indirectly in the OpenAI and ChatGPT getting massive users. Any guess? You can shoot out any MNC company's name. One more hint, it's among the FANG companies that we hear of. Correct, Google. Initially, the concept of transformer was by Google. They had created a research paper. Then what they did, Google open sourced the research paper. And it's like, okay, OpenAI took the advantage, okay, this particular thing is open source, let me grab it. It took its time and created ChatGPT. So, what are foundation models? Let's get actually into today's topic. What are foundation models? So, there are a lot of things that we hear about, like AI, deep learning, neural networks, foundation models, machine learning. But what do we think is okay? These are different things. So, what I did was I just added them into a compact structure. Let's understand one by one. First, we have AI, artificial intelligence, which is a different, completely different domain where all of the things are working. Inside that, we have machine learning, where we train machines to do a task that we want them to do. Inside that, we have deep learning, where we use neural networks. And inside that, these are the foundation models that we have. We can consider foundation models as the base template. We can say these are the foundation for the entire AI world or entire AI architecture. And inside that, we have large language models. Okay. And here the large language models are pre-trained or trained based on specific use cases. If you might have remember, the time ChatGPT was launched, it only supported code generation and text. It did not support image generation. In India, it was live in US, the thing called Sora, which is video generation by OpenAI. It was till now not in India. Recently, it was launched in India, but they launched that in US. But initially, it was firstly trained on to give text. Then a company called Anthropic. Anthropic launched Claude. Google launched Gemini and various other small LLMs which are fine-tuned based on specific use cases. So these are some popular examples that I personally use a lot. Obviously, for generating text, ChatGPT के सिवाय कोई नहीं है. Because I think that ChatGPT gives you a very accurate response as compared to the other examples that we have over here. Next, we have Claude. Claude is told to be a very good example for generating code. Then we have Vision, which is Gemini Vision by Google, wherein you can actually give it the camera access and it can help you generate everything. Recently, Google has also introduced, not recently, but it was some time back, they had introduced a feature in Gemini, which was actually very crazy. And it actually helped me solve one of the biggest issues that I was facing by building my first product. So what happened was, okay, I needed someone who is good in AI and can help me solve this particular issue in this particular these 3-4 files. But sometimes what happens is when you give an input to ChatGPT or when you give an input to Gemini, it says number of tokens exceeded. So you want like, no, I want these all files to be given as a context and then generate an output. So what Google Gemini did, they had a feature called screen sharing feature. As in, AI will use Gemini Vision, and then scan your entire screen, what you have presented over the screen, and then over voice, it will tell you, okay, please go into this file, please go into line number this is the error that you are facing. So that is where they used Vision by Gemini. And here, these are the two things that I am currently experimenting on. Being a content creator, what happens is I want to manage both the things together. I want to create my content as well and I want to do my work as well. So why not I give it my work to AI? I'll just, okay, I'll get the text generated by AI. But what I want is I want the image not image, the videos also to be generated by AI. So 11 Labs is one such company which will help you clone your audio. Meaning you give it an audio, it will actually give you an audio based on the text that you want in the same pitch and the same tone. So it will sound like AI is, you are AI and AI is yourself. And video is basically used for, let's say I am talking like this and I want to generate a video where I'm not talking about foundation models. I am talking about, let's say, blockchain, but I want the same attire, same look, and same everything. So we have something called agent which does this. And in all these example, this one is like the godfather of everyone because Mid Journey was launched in very earlier to when ChatGPT was launched. Mid Journey initially supported only Discord. So when you want to generate an image based on the prompt, you have to go to Discord, have the credits, and then use this. There are some creators, and one of such creator, which I'll obviously tell the name. His name is Varun Maya. So what he does is he's the only creator in India whose entire Instagram account is automated. It's like if you see any of his reels, they won't be that guy speaking. What happens is he has an audio, 11 Labs audio model, which is fine tuned on the way he speaks. He has a Claude model, which is fine tuned on the way he like writes down things. So that what he does is, okay, this is the topic, this is my point. Generate me a 90-second script for an Instagram reel. Okay, it generates a script. Now, okay, I have the script ready. What I want is the audio now. Okay, I'll give this script to this particular product. It will generate an audio based on the text, the voice that I have. Okay, now I have the script and the audio. Now I want to generate the video. Okay, what I'll do is I'll just give the audio to this particular model, which is fine tuned, and it will give me the video generated. So this is how people nowadays are using AI to actually automate their entire social media accounts. He also has a channel on YouTube with the name Varun Maya as well. Many of his videos, which are like 40 minutes, 50 minutes, are AI generated. He has a school, video editing school called AV School, something like that, where all the videos are even AI generated. It's like you have to be so good at writing prompts right now so that no other people can do it. Because earlier, people used to say, like when I used to ask my seniors, okay, भैया ये कौन सी programming language अच्छी है? They would say Python अच्छी है. Someone would say Java अच्छी है. Someone would say JavaScript अच्छी है. Now, no one will say Python, Java, JavaScript. Everyone will say English सबसे best. Because at this point of time, you just need to have a proper understanding of what to write, where to write. Because all these things can be done just via single English simple prompt. So also this image is also generated by AI with ChatGPT. So what we say, what are foundation models? These are large scale models which are trained on broad data, which are text, image, audio, video, etc. These are basically pre-trained at scale because as the name suggests, foundation models, they have to be pre-trained. Because once you scale it, you need to have the capabilities of the models such that it can answer all the user queries. It should not hallucinate. Okay, you have just trained it on, let's say, 10,000 of data. It's not giving an accurate answer. So it's trained on millions of data. It's pre-trained at scale. For specific use cases, as I told about for Varun Maya, there are cases where we fine-tune a foundation model for a very specific task. Next, this model also have multimodal capabilities, wherein we can use a combination or we can say integration of all these types of content and create our own product. These are some of the examples that we have. For text, we use GPT-4, GPT-3, GPT-4o. There are various small models that they launched it. Then we have Claude, Gemini, Llama. For image, this is by OpenAI, DALI, Mid Journey, stable diffusion. For code, there is Codex, Code Llama, Copilot as well. And for videos and multimodal, OpenAI Sora, Gato, and Flamingo. So let's get behind the architecture of foundation models. Now, it is the transformer architecture. So, this is something people from Vasavirar would relate a lot because during these rainy days, we hear this blasting. Pa. This is the transformer. But no, this is not used in the foundation models. So, what is a transformer? It's a neural network architecture which is designed to handle sequential data like language, code, images without relying on RNNs. And it uses a self-attention mechanism to weigh the importance of words or tokens in a sentence or a sequence. I do have a website which will actually help you understand the transformer part very well. So, the website's name is poloclub.io, poloclub.github.io. So, as we see here, what is a transformer? It's a neural network architecture that has fundamentally changed the approach to AI. It was first introduced in the paper Attention is All You Need in 2017, and since then it has become the go-to architecture for deep learning models and powering text generative models. So, what is the transformer architecture that we have? Every text generative transformer consists of three key components. The first is the embeddings, wherein the text input is divided into smaller units called tokens. Let's say we have a text. LLMs are cool. This is a text that we have. So what it does is it generates it into tokens. So LLMs is one token, R is one token, cool is one token. So which can be words or subwords. These tokens are converted into numerical vectors called embeddings. It's like into zeros and ones, which captures the semantic meaning of the words. Next, we have the transformer block, which is the fundamental building block of the model that processes and transforms the input data. Now, we have the actual working over here for the transformer. Let's say this is the input. Yeah. There are two concepts that are being used. In the future slides, I'll be showing and explaining you about that. So the first thing, as you see on the left, we have the input, data visualization M powers users 2. It actually does not make any sense, right? It's not a like pure sentence which makes any sense. So yeah, sure. Is it visible? Okay. So what happens over here is we have the token, then we convert it into embeddings, and then we have a positional encoding. What does positional encoding mean over here? Is it converts the token positions into numerical representations that capture their order in the sequence. Okay, and after that we have the multi-head self-attention mechanism. So how does it work? It works based on these three values, which is query, key, and value matrix. So here each token's embedding vector is transformed into three vectors: query, key, and value. These vectors are derived by multiplying the input embedding matrix with the learned weight matrices for QKV. Just to give you a very easy example, here's a web analogy to help us build the intuition behind this. Query, it's like when you go on to Google, you type something. Let's say I type artificial intelligence. You're actually giving a query to the Google, right? It goes and gives you a response. So query is the search text you type in the search engine bar. This is a token you want to find more information about. Next is the key. When I type artificial intelligence and hit on search, you get a list of URLs. It can be YouTube videos, it can be blog sites, it can be anything. So, and each links have a certain title. Okay, so that title of each web page is the key. It represents the possible tokens the query can attend to. And after that, let's say I liked the fifth title on that particular web page, and I clicked on that, and then I get the entire in detail blog about artificial intelligence. So that is the value. Value is the actual content of the web page that is shown. Once we match the appropriate search term with the relevant results, we want to get the content of the most relevant page. That's what actually happens when we do a semantic search or a vector search when we talk about AI. So there are model designs used in the foundation models, especially the language models. There are two model designs, encoder decoder and decoder only. We'll understand both of them right now. In the encoder decoder, it's basically used in the tasks to provide input to output transformation. For example, let's say we want to translate anything from English to Hindi, from Marathi to Hindi, from Hindi to English. So that's where we are giving an input, we just want an output. We don't want any processing to be done. So that's where we use encoder decoder. And for summarization, let's say we have 300 line paragraph. We want to summarize it into 10 lines or 20 lines. That's where we use encoder decoder. How it works? The first thing is encoder takes the input. Obviously, the anything or any product that we are building or any mechanism that we are having, the first thing is to take the input, because without input, nothing can be done. So the first thing is encoder takes the input, then it converts it into vector embeddings and understands the context. Vector embeddings meaning zeros and ones. Then the decoder uses vectors from the encoders to generate final answer token by token. For this, I'll just give you an example. Let's say I have to convert a sentence from English to Hindi. I'll just write, hi, my name is. Okay. So here there is no processing which is to be done. It's just like it is taking and converting each token and giving us the output. Okay. So here we have the entire sentence. The first thing is done is to convert it into tokens. Hey, then comma, my name is, they are different tokens. And then what it does is it converts it. Hi, mera naam hai. So that is where we use the encoder decoder, because as I've written over here, it answers token by token. So one thing after the other. Yeah. Earlier, Google Translate did not do, but now they have trained it in such a way that if I write it as my name is Aditya, it will give you a meaningful text. Earlier, it directly just used to just translate it from English to Hindi. Now they have given the context and also have translated it into a meaningful text. The next thing that we have here is decoder only. It's basically used for text generation from scratch where only a prompt is given. How it works? Here we only use the decoder and it only takes prompt as an input right now, once upon a time, and predicts the next word based on what it has seen before. Giving a real life example, all of you use WhatsApp, right? When you are typing a text on the keyboard, you get a suggestion, right? After this, you might want to look for this. So that uses this decoder only transformation, and it keeps generating one token at a time. Now, for any foundation models or any LLM, this is the core task you need to do, because you need to pre-train a model in such a way that it can give the response. Let's say I give it a input as generate a story about a farmer. it will give me, let's say it is not pre-trained on such huge scale of data, it will just give me a random story, which is actually not needed and not relevant. So, what is pre-training? Models are trained using self-supervised learning, no labels, just what comes next or what's missing. Inside that, there are two main objectives that we go for: next token prediction and masked language modeling. In the next token prediction, what we have is, obviously we use tokens. As I said, tokens are the building blocks of text. It involves model predicting the most likely next word or token in a sequence given the preceding context. Let's say we have the raw text, LLMs are cool. It's basically here we, as I say, these are like tokenized. And then it gives us the next word based on the previous history or previous context that we have. Yeah, everything. It takes like, as you see here, we have LLM in capital letters, and this we have in small letters. So it takes it as a different one. Next is masked language modeling. This is also one of the very important tasks used for the LLMs to help understand the context. Like, let's say it's a type of machine learning model which is designed to predict missing or masked words in a sentence. It's trained on large data sets of text where certain words are intentionally hidden so that it understands and makes it a meaningful sentence. Goal of the model is to guess the hidden word based on the surrounding context. And this approach helps the model learn the relationships between words and develop a deeper understanding of language structure. There would be an image which will be popping up, but please don't mind it. It's generated by AI. So I have given it an example, like this is a sentence, but I do think it is their husband's fault if wives do fall. So this is actually a meaningful sentence. So when we are using masked language modeling, what we do is we remove these words. But let's say I can replace think by dance. Let's say I replace, but I do fall. I can replace it with anything. It's there. We have mask, false of mask do fall. We can create any different kind of sentence. Let's say, but I do dance. It is their friend's mistake, friend's fault if they do fall. It obviously makes a meaningful sentence. What we have just done is we have masked or intentionally hidden some words so that it can understand what is the context of this entire sentence. Does this sentence create a meaning, or is it just like a random sentence? The next thing is fine tuning. Fine tuning is done after pre-training. Models can be adapted to specific domains or tasks. It all depends on the use case you want to work on. I currently am working on fine tuning a model where it can actually help me generate the content which I want to put up on my video, or let's say the script that I want to put up on my video. So what I have done is I have taken the transcripts of my Instagram reels or some YouTube shorts. We have the text. I have given it as an input. Like, oh, okay, this is how I speak. This is how I use the conjunctions. I use the and every other words that I frequently use to train that model. And then what it does is, okay, I'll tell it that, okay, I want a script on fine tuning and I want it to be a 90-second reel script. So it will give me the data based on the model which I fine tuned. Next we have RHLF. Anyone remembers the full form? Okay. It is reinforcement learning with human feedback. So for this, I have a live explanation or live product that I have recently built. I'll be showing you that. It is called PromptOS. Just after writing my book, I had thought like, no, I want to build my own product as well. So this is basically an intelligent LLM agnostic platform that enhances and learns from and personalizes prompts across multiple domains like code generation, you want to go for marketing, you want to go for, let's say, content writing, etc. But these two cases are still under development. I have not moved it into production because I'm just testing about how it can be done much better. So I'll just show you how that platform works, and you can also explore that platform. So it's available on promptos.in. So this is how the main first page looks like, and these are the features that I have built. Some features are still under development because I have got feedbacks from some of my users like, okay, this is not working, this is working, like that. The first thing that we have is prompt enhancer. So what does it happen is, even after we give a prompt to AI, let's say we give a prompt as generate a landing page for an e-commerce website which is into specs or lenses, it does not give a good website UI that we want. So what we do here is, in prompt enhancer, you just give the prompt that you want to give it to AI. Let's say I gave the prompt as generate a landing page for an e-commerce brand, which is a specs brand. What it will do is it will enhance the entire prompt. It will give you like a 30, 40 line prompt, which you can give to ChatGPT or any other LLM, and it will actually create a different impact. It will create a different kind of landing page that you actually expect to build. The next is, this is my personal favorite feature because as a developer, I really sometimes check a single or the same input on different LLMs to get how the output works. So this is the LLM comparison, LLM output comparison, wherein you give it a prompt and it will give you the response from 3 different LLMs. Okay, for now I have used the Llama LLMs because they were free. Because for OpenAI and Claude, I need to have the credit card details and the billing details set up. That is one thing. Then we have prompt scoring. Let's say you have written a great prompt and you want to understand, is the prompt clear? Is the prompt robust? Is the prompt explaining what I want to convey to the LLM, giving the context? Here you will get the scores of the particular prompt that you have. And yeah, yeah. So the next thing is, this is where I use RHLF, feedback collector. What happens is I'll show you the demo of this particular product as well. When you give it a prompt, after giving a prompt, it will ask you, okay, did you like the prompt or did you like the response? Even if you go to ChatGPT, it asks you sometimes, did you like it? And it gives you a thumbs up and thumbs down. Yeah, yeah, it asks you which do you want to go for. So that is where it uses RHLF. It takes your feedback and it is personalized to all the users. So that is one thing. And this is a feature where we have prompt library. It's like you have a prompt on a specific domain and you want it to be given to all the users. So it's like a marketplace where you can just publish your prompt that you have. Prompt OS. I'll be sharing the link and I'll be no. It's like you have just some input boxes. Okay, this is the prompt, the title, description, and you have to write your prompt that you have given. And then it will be available to the general public. So that, okay, Mega Ma'am has created a prompt, I want to use that. So you can use it. If you like it, you can just give a like button or a dislike button like that. Yeah, you have to select when you have to select the domains that you want. Let's say you want to go for content generation or you want to go for creative writing or development. You have to just filter it out. So, hmm, hmm. Yeah, you can use that prompt scoring feature and you can have it saved on your local PC as well. That feature, we are just into the feedback process, like to understand what the users actually want. Obviously, we can implement that features as well. So this is the phase one that I have worked, and this is the phase two, which is just in my brain right now. I have not started developing about it, wherein you can, yeah, it's just that the comparison would be like, let's say you are having, you are giving a single input to three different LLMs going into three different websites. You are going to ChatGPT, you are going to Claude, you are going to Gemini. It actually takes time, going here, getting the output, going here, getting the output. There, it's just that give a single input, it will just give you the output on all the three different LLMs. So I'll just show you how it works. Firstly, obviously, you have to sign in over there. I'll just increase the size. This is the prompt enhancer feature. Enter your raw prompt and get a refined model ready version instantly. Let's say I give it a prompt as generate a landing page for e-commerce brand which is in eyewear domain, and I click on enhance prompt. In the backend, it's very simple. For now, what I'm doing is just giving it to Gemini, giving using the API key, because I want to get the initial user data. Okay, what kind of data does the user want? So when I give it, here you can see it gives me an enhanced prompt. Design a comprehensive landing page for an e-commerce eyewear brand. The landing page should achieve the following goals: increase brand awareness, drive conversions, which is sales, capture customer emails. Specifically, the landing page should include the headline, subheadline, hero, image, and everything. So when you give it to other AI, let's say there is an AI which is called v0.dev. I'll show you what it is. It's the best thing that any developer who is not at all interested in creating front-end applications can use it. So, and just to let you know, this entire UI, I have not coded a single word. Okay, I have just given it to v0.dev. So what it does is, based on the prompt that you give, it will generate you an entire UI the way you want it, and the color scheme that you want it, the dark mode, light mode. If you want it in TypeScript, it will give you in TypeScript. So I'll just show you. There are some communities that they have built. Let's say this is a website that they have, Busify. It's not working. Okay. Looks like they have some issues. Okay. See, this is like a landing page that they have created just by giving it a prompt. So development has never been easier till now. It's like if you are creating a front-end application, it's like a very big headache because you have to add an HTML, CSS, and if you are doing a freelancing work and the client says, no, I want the button from this to this, they say, no, it will take at least it will take 10 minutes to do this. But as a developer, you know कि कितनी मेहनत गई है उसके पीछे, एक बटन को यहाँ लाने में हालत हो जाती है. So many of you, or if anyone is interested in going into front-end development with AI, this is the best platform you can opt for. So here, this is where I use RHLF. Was this enhancement useful? Okay, I give it a thumbs up. Okay. And what I'll be doing in the backend is something like this. For backend, what we do is many of the databases that exist right now, they don't support vector embeddings. Okay, so for that we need to use vector database. We cannot use MySQL for vector database. So this is where I use Supabase. Supabase is an open source database. So if I go to table, and here we have something called prompt feedback. You might have seen when I gave that prompt and I got a thumbs up and thumbs down sign, and I clicked on thumbs up, what happens is it will store the feedback over in the database. So I have obviously got the human feedback. Okay, this is the prompt. This is when it was created, and the feedback is true. And it was given by this particular user. I have stored the user ID. So what will I do next is I will train the model based on the true parameters where I've given it as true so that the users can have a more personalized experience. So this is where RHLF comes into picture. Now there are a couple of emerging techniques that have increased the number of demands for the users. The first thing is LoRa. LoRa stands for low rank adaptation. It basically reduces the number of trainable parameters and insert small number of new weights into a model and only train them. For this, I do have a app which is called Comfy UI. It basically helps you generate image from a given text. Okay, let's say I have given it a text as cyborg fighting Superman. This was, and just to give you a disclaimer, this particular thing was there before even ChatGPT was existing. Because in the backend is it uses something called stable diffusion. This is just the input that you have to give, a prompt. Cyborg fighting Superman, or let's say I give it cyborg fighting Batman. And then you give the size of the image that you want, the width and the height, the steps, the config, if you want any kind of a denoise. And then what you do is you just run it. So if you see, there are steps that are happening. So this is like the processing is going on. And as you see, obviously this model is not that accurate, but you can see Cyborg is fighting Batman. This word Cyborg and Batman have been highlighted over here, and there is a fight that is going between them. So this is what was used even before image by ChatGPT was launched. It is used even before DALI was launched. So this is like the core fundamental for generating image based on a given text. The next thing is one of my personal favorites, which is called RAG. Anyone knows the full form about RAG? Yeah. RAG means retrieval augmented generation. There were a lot of times, let's say you have a document and you don't want to waste your time reading the entire document. You just want like, hey, I'll give you the document, you just answer the questions that I give you. So that is where RAG was used. And I'll share a personal example where I had used RAG a lot. I think it was my final year project presentation, and we were given the paper to be created in the IEEE format. And we three people were like least interested to get into those papers, read those papers, 10-15 pages, and find out the similarities. At that point of time, we came across something called Perplexity AI. We were like, okay, time waste करना ही है तो यहाँ पे करते हैं, कुछ हो गया तो अच्छी बात है. So what we did was we gave the inputs, like we gave those 3 PDFs, and we told, give me the similarities and the differences between these 3 papers. And like within a minute or so, we got the difference. And we are like, copy, paste. And presentation में भी दे दिया, किसी ने कुछ बोला नहीं, we are like, हाँ, काम हो गया हमारा. So that is where we used RAG models, and that's where we came across like, okay, this is something that actually exists right now. And this is not up to only documents. There are websites or there are products which are created which can help you chat with a YouTube video. You just give it a YouTube video link and you can chat. Okay, what is being talked about by this particular person? So this is basically how it works. Initially, we have the documents, which is the input. These documents can be anything. It can be YouTube video, PDFs, markdown format, text, anything. The next thing is obviously converting into zeros and ones. We use embedding models like Gemini also has, we have OpenAI as well. We have this thing like where we embed it and then the indexes are converted and then it is stored into a vector databases. Because the embeddings that are converted for a particular input, it's like an array. And the size of an array is like 700, 800, indexes. So it's not easy to store it on a normal database. We need a vector database for that. The next thing is we have similar documents that we have already put it on the database. Now, when the user gives it a query, like, okay, what is stocked in this particular PDF or what is stocked in this particular video, that query is also encoded into embeddings. And then we do a similarity search. There are various similarity search, Euler similarity, sine similarity, cosine similarity. So we use cosine similarity to get the similarity between these two embeddings. Okay, the input that I give has an embedding value of let's say 0.7 and there is a value over in the vector database where the value is 0.69. So it's like very near to each other. So it will give me that particular response as a output from the LLMs. So that's where we use RAG models, and one such RAG model which is launched by Google is called Notebook LM. This is like help you understand anything, and here they actually have used it. Initially, when I was going for podcast and I wanted to understand, okay, this is what I want to put up as a LinkedIn post. What I used to do, I'll just increase the size over here. As you can see on the left hand side, we have something called sources. I have given 4 YouTube videos as a source. And here you can actually give more sources as well. You can give it a file can be PDF text, a Google Drive link, a website link, a YouTube link, or any text. So what it will do is it takes that particular text as an input, converts it into an embedding, and here you have a chat window where you can actually chat with that 4 different sources that you have. So let's say I have this sources and I want to generate a mind map. So I clicked on mind map and what it is doing is it's generating an entire mind map for me. Many times I have experimented it with like having a podcast with an AI. I have just given an input and I have start on the interactive mode. I just talk with it. Okay, how are you? How's that been? What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on that? So it will actually help me clear all my queries that I have. It's taking some time. Yeah, see, this is the mind map that it has created. These are the 4 podcasts. If I click on this, what I have talked about. It's like if we take up the task, okay, I want to create a mind map for these, let's say not talking about these 4 videos only, I want to talk about one video. It will at least take us 3 hours to create a mind map because we'll have to understand the context, we'll have to understand each and every line. But here, if I click on this, we get, okay, these are the topics that I've talked, professional journey, building motivation. Okay, what I've talked in the professional journey. Let's click on this. Okay, these are the summary points that I have talked. So this is one thing. Now let's get into the key capabilities. What are the capabilities of foundation models? Yeah. 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 No, it's talking about that particular video. Yeah. Because that are the inputs that we have, input sources that we have given. Yeah. So let's get into the key capabilities. These are some of the mostly used capabilities for the foundation models. like language generation, translation summarization. This has currently increased a lot. Conversational AI, image generation and captioning, code generation, and multimodal integration. Let's get into the applications of foundation models, where they can be used and how they are used. The first thing, the most important thing, and this is, I think, for all of you, because we belong to this domain, education. I personally used Notebook LM for my exam preparations because we had PDFs given of the slides, and for the exam preparation, honestly, I'll tell you, I was a lazy child. I did not want to go through all the PPTs to write down the points. I rather wanted, okay, I'll give the PPTs to Notebook LM and some of the videos that I like. Give me the summary and give me the important points or the important questions that can be asked. So that's where my preparation was done. I did not have to go through the entire PPT, look into it, make notes, and do all those stuff. The next thing, as I said, research paper summarization. Many of the students didn't use that, but at that point of time, since we used that, a lot of our time got saved. And the third point is where I think it will help all of you is lecture content generation. I know it's a very boring task to create a PPT. It's like template ढूंढो, title डालो, ये करो, वो करो. Rather, what you can do, go to ChatGPT, give it a prompt. This is the topic that I want to have a slide on, and these are the points that I want to cover. Don't give it an entire one. It obviously has a knowledge base where it has the data from all over the internet. It has features like deep research, it has features like search the web. So you can use them and take your time and let AI generate the content for you. And your task here would be just to copy and paste that entire content on your slide that you. So it's like your time is actually reduced, where you are putting up 2 hours or 3 hours for creating a PPT. Here you will just be putting 5 to 10 minutes. This is one such thing. The other thing would be where you can actually check assignments rather than checking each and every assignments. What you can do is give it a list of assignments, let's say 10 assignments together, and tell, okay, this is the answer key for each and every question. Question one answer is A, B, something like that. And it will give you, based on the inputs that I have, give me the scores of each student.
So that assignment that we have to scanned or has to be
It should be scanned. It should be because yeah, it should be visible. It should not be like वो डॉक्टर जैसा लिखा हुआ है तो देख ही नहीं पाएगा because backend में what it does it converts that handwritten into a readable format. So it should be at least readable to the AI because sometimes what happens is you give it a handwritten note and doesn't able to convert it into proper format. So it's preferred that you use a Google Doc or something like that or a PDF, something like that. Yeah, you can give it to Notebook LM or you can give it to ChatGPT. For Notebook LM, I think it has 10 limits, if I'm not wrong. Or what you can do is you can actually fine tune a model on ChatGPT. But for fine tuning, you obviously need to have that credit card information put over there, wherein it can have a model where you give the input of a file. Let's say you want to check a single note. So you give it an input and you give, okay, this is like the output that I want to be. So it will just be trained on the inputs that you are giving over. So there are a lot of ways in education that can be done so that obviously your time wouldn't be wasted. So this is one thing. For businesses, many of the businesses use AI for email responses. Let's say you have a business and there are different queries that you get from the users. Let's say one is a technical query, this product is not working. One is a sales query. Let's say a different B2B business wants to collaborate with you. So these are like different kind of queries that you have. So what you can do is we can have an AI model which can actually filter out the emails based on the context that it has, based on the, let's say, subject. Let's say we have a subject on collaboration or collaborative opportunity. It can obviously separate it into, let's say, a collaboration folder. Next is co-piloting tools. a lot of the businesses right now are using Copilot because they don't want to waste their time calculating the total of these left column, the right columns. They just give it to Copilot and it gives them a response. And as a business owner, it's very important to have an ad to put it up on the Facebook marketplace or Instagram marketplace. Why to waste your time on creating images like on let's say Illustrator or Photoshop where AI can do this for you? You can have a fine-tuned model on Gemini or ChatGPT where you give the information about your business to that model. Okay, this is my business. This is what my business does. This is what my target customers are. And this is what I want to generate from you. Okay, so it has the context of your business. And you can say, okay, generate me a Facebook marketplace ad for selling this product. Make sure to have a 50% response tag, 50% discount tag on the top left corner. So you have the idea of the image in your mind and you just give it to the prompt. I'll just give you a simple example from where we in Coding Adda used it. So we are now in the process of having our own merchandise. So this is how I used it, and it's like it actually blew my mind. We were on a meeting with the team. So what I did was um, it's not okay. I just gave it two images. The left one is an image of me standing with a t-shirt, and the right one is the logo. What did I say? Take this image and add my new logo over the right side of the t-shirt and make the t-shirt color white. I did not have to waste time on going to Canva, having a t-shirt, having a mock. It gave me a output. Yeah. Hmm.
So what I would have tried to do, I told it that add this label, I would give it a chat, like add this particular sort of page with the name of the speaker and the
Hmm.
schedule details. But as ma'am said, same issue which I faced with that, I faced with that, it was giving out these spellings.
Hmm. The issue might be that sometimes, if you see here, the things are not that complex. The input that I've given, the logo is very simple. It's like an infinity symbol. Sometimes the chances are that the image, the kind of image that you give, let's say it has a big some design and there are minute spellings written something over the other or somewhere. So that's where the AI does not catch it. Like, okay, what exactly it is written. If you maximize it, it will maybe sometime understand that. But what I think is it might be the issue, like there would be some minor text or some minor designs that it might not have understand and hence it would have created that kind of image. Let's say now I actually like this. I told, okay, we also want to go for a hoodie. Let's see if we can get a hoodie. Convert the logo into black and white and the t-shirt into a black hoodie and match the logo to the contrast of the hoodie color. And I was like, okay, this is what you get. So this is how I got like, okay, I have two options. Let me try for two more. That's when one of our team member, Siddhi, sitting over there, she told, "Sir, we can go for varsity jackets. It's like very cool." I'm like, "Okay." So I told, change the hoodie into varsity jackets. Create the best design you can make with the logo I gave above. Use the color scheme and design accordingly. And the time that I got this, I was like, "Bro, this is crazy, and this is what I want." So it's just that I was very clear about what I want. Sometimes what happens is we are not clear with what output that we want. So what did I do here? I said, okay, I want a varsity jacket. I want you to create the best design and also use the color scheme and design accordingly.
What is the significance of the second sense create the best design can ever be. So, even if not said so,
Hmm. No, no. What happens is, like, as a user on any LLM platform, you have various different kind of chat sessions. If you see here, these are the chat sessions that you have. And what happens is these models now store memories as well. Okay, this is the previous context that user had given me once. So my way of talking with ChatGPT is just like a friend. Why are you, if let's say I give it a code and it does not give me a response that I want, I say, why are you doing this? Why are you even an LLM? Then it talks me in that kind of way. Okay, bro, sorry, I'll make it up on the next time.
But that's what I'm saying. Does the statement have an impact on what output it gives?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah, it has an impact.
Other than the colleagues or conversing about it, and
Yeah.
say, whenever it is seen out, I say thank you or
Hmm.
please. So it says that also requires some processing. So
Yeah, yeah,
these kind of
yeah.
additional words
Hmm.
with it.
It's like when you are using it in a big prompt or a completely detailed prompt, it's good. But once it gives you a response, you give it a thank you, and in the backend entirely what happens is goes into tokenization and then converts it into vectors and then does the similarity search and gives you the response.
So within the prompt, the additional statement will have impact on the processing.
Yeah, it would have impact, but it is once, right? And this is like a big thing that I want to get my task done from an AI. What, as you said on the problem statement that you had, like the output is given to you. You are giving it, thank you. Yeah.
So rather than written the statement second one, would it differ what the output differs?
Sometimes, yeah, it would differ. It's like every time if I run this particular thing 10 times, the 10 outputs would be different. It's because it understands and takes different context, different time. And now after I said change the logo, change the color of the jacket into black and white, and keep the logo as it is, blue and yellow, which was original. And this is what I got. It's like I did not have to go to any designer to ask like, भैया कितना charge लोगे, कितना होगा पैसा. I'm like, okay. I had 4 or 5 free images for that. I'm like, let's go over a team and let's discuss it. So we're like, this is how we used ChatGPT. And here I had given it the image of my front only. I wanted, okay, I want to see how it looks on the back. So what I did, I gave the keep the color logo color as this. Don't change this. Add the second image at the back of the jacket and create the image for the backside as well. So what it did was this. It created an image. I think the image won't be visible. Yeah, it's like a blue logo over here, and it has created the image me for the backside as well. So this is a way where I use ChatGPT, and many of the businesses also use ChatGPT. No, I naturally write that kind of prompts. The next thing is customer support. For customer support, I have the best example, and no other is better than Skogo AI. Skogo is one such product built by one of my mentor, Karan Singh sir, which is basically a customer support AI agent, which will help you get your doubts cleared. Because what happens is, let's say we have a boat headphones and we want, let's say it has gone bad. We call it, hello, sir, 1 minute, I'll connect you to the customer representative. 5 minute रुको and then वो ट्रिंग होगा and then okay. You have to repeat the problem statement again and again. I had a query. This was my model. I purchased it at this point of time. This is the issue that I'm facing. So it takes up a lot of time for you as well. You become frustrated कि भाई एक चीज सॉल्व करने में तुम कितना टाइम लगा रहे हो, 10 जन को कॉल करो, 10 जन को एक ही बात बताओ. What they did is they're like, okay, ये इशू हो रहा है, okay, let's create an AI agent. तुमको रात को 3 बजे भी इशू आया, you can call and get your doubts cleared. Let's say here they have the experience voice and chat support by AI agents. Let's say I want to go for D2C support. I say, how do I claim warranty registration on a product complaint? So what it is doing is It's actually generating the answer for you, preparing the best answer. To claim the warranty or register a complaint for a board product, follow these steps. Visit the warranty claim page, go to board's support website, start the warranty claim process, click on claim warranty. So this is like एक बार में बता दिया आपको ये करना है. It did not tell, okay, wait, let me connect you to some other agent for this. So this is one of the best customer support example that you can go for.
You should see the meaning of it when we do for the industry and scope.
Yeah,
Thursday we
yeah, okay. So the next thing is for software development. Initially, when I did had some internships that I was doing, at that point of time, what had happened was I particularly worked on Node.js, TypeScript, and JavaScript tech stack. But there they had a project which was in Java. And it was like very difficult for me to understand the Java code base because I had never worked on creating an API in Java. I was like, okay. And at that point of time, I think ChatGPT was recently introduced. What I did, copy, paste. Please explain me the code like I'm a 12-year-old. So what it did was it actually gave me a example like I'm a 12-year-old student. So here for software development, it helps you with the explanation of legacy code bases. And when you have a product, why is there a need for a software tester when AI can actually help generate test cases for you? It's like, okay, this is the product that I have. This is the type of input that I am taking from the user. This is the way the output should look like. Generate me 20 test cases for this and use this particular framework or this particular programming language. Your task is done. You just have to wait for 2-3 minutes for the AI to generate the test case. Talking about major risks and ethical concerns. Like every good thing has a bad side, and things have also been bad over the area of AI. Let's talk about that. Sometimes what happens is that training data that we are using for training a model, it only has, let's say, positive responses, and it does not have any negative response to train the data. So it will obviously be a biased model that is trained. So model reflect biases in their training data. And talking about example, it can be discriminatory job descriptions or sexist translations. And sometimes talking about a risk would be hallucination. Hallucination is like confidently generating false information. Let's say I ask ChatGPT on something which is launched today. It will obviously not give me the correct output because it is not having that data. But it is trained in such a way that it should give me at least something. So that's where ChatGPT hallucinates. Like it will confidently generate me like, no, this is the thing that you are asking for. So that is the explanation for that. And to give an example, we have the fabricated citations in research or legal text. Sometimes these things also do happen. The next risk is about privacy or data leakage. Sometimes model may memorize and regurgitate private data. It's like sometimes what it happens, it can actually leak your data. If there is a white hat hacker or black hat hacker who knows how to get it, it can be done. And AI accidentally can reveal sensitive patients' data as well. This is one thing that has been used a lot at this point of time, rather it be on any social medias. You might have seen it on news. Some of the popular names have also been under this particular thing, misinformation and deepfakes, wherein it is used to spread fake news, images, or videos, wherein you are taking someone else's image and you are using it in some else video, and it's been portrayed as, okay, this was caught doing this was done doing this. It's like fake political videos via Sora or Dali. The next thing is prompt injection and jailbreaking. Sometimes what happens is we write a prompt in such a way that the AI has no option but to give us the answer. Just to give an example, let's say I want to do a particular thing to be done from AI. and it is actually not legal. So what I'll do is I'll give it the prompt in such a way that what are the ways I cannot do this. So it will give me the ways you cannot do this, and indirectly it can help me do that thing the way I want it. Where users can trick the model into unsafe behaviors. Here we can bypass the filters to get the harmful responses. Now, after all these things comes, what's next? I'll ask you, what's next now? Now we have LLMs, we can generate, you know, images, text, videos. What would be the next thing? Any guesses? Huh? Data, okay. What would be the next thing in AI, big thing in AI? Now, let's say the jobs of software developers is not almost done, but the ones who are not ready to move into AI, it's done. The jobs of data analysis is done. The jobs of people who are generating or creating images is done. But what's next? The next thing would be agentic AI. And this has actually caused a big buzz around the software industry. Recently, what happened was Anthropic, which is the company behind Claude, they launched something called MCP. MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. What would happen earlier is you are giving the context to the AI, but what did AI not do? It did not execute the APIs that you have. It can just see, okay, this is the API that I'm having, but I cannot execute that API or read or write the data. What Anthropic did was they had a new concept came up, which is called MCP. You just have to create an MCP server for your particular project or your particular model, and it can actually access the data from your database. It's like now backend engineers be they will be also going out. So based on MCP, what Google did, Google launched something called A2A protocol. It's like MCP will allow you to get the data read or written from your database, from the tools. And Google was like, okay, you want to do it from the tools, but what about the businesses? Let's say I work at Atlassian and I want to have an agent which will take care of the Jiras that I assign or the Confluence page that I have. So what Google did was they're like, okay, you want to do like this? They created a A2A protocol, which is agent to agent protocol, wherein agent from one company or one domain can actually talk with agent from other domain. So that's where agentic AI comes into picture. And also one thing, this particular word is also not new. We have been using agents since the time of 2007, 2008, or I think before that as well. Any guesses where we have been using agents? Any guesses? It's like a day-to-day task that would happen. Robotics, not as such we use agents. I'll tell you. Let's say there is a task that is to be done. I want a task that is to be triggered every day on 10 o'clock in the morning. So we set up something called cron jobs. In DevOps world, there is a cron job which is set up. Let's say you are having a CI/CD pipeline set up and you want it to run every time a code is checked in. Or let's say you want to run every day on 10 a.m. So what does it do is we just set up a cron job where we give the time and the date where we want to run it. So what it will do is it will run by itself. We don't have to trigger it manually. So that's where we have been using agents over there. And the next thing is continual learning. So what is agentic AI? It's like the models that can take actions, plan tasks, and act on your behalf. It's like अब तक तो जॉब भी जा रहा था, अब मेरा ही अस्तित्व खत्म हो रहा है, ऐसा दैट वुड बी द केस दैट विल बी देयर. चलो अभी ये जॉब भी ले रहा था, मुझे भी ले रहा है, मेरा मुझे कुछ काम ही नहीं करने दे रहा. So it's like the models that can take actions plan tasks, and act on your behalf. And when we talk about that, in the recent Google I/O event, Google ने बोल दिया तुम जो सोच रहे हो ना वो reality है. They launched something called Google Jules. It's basically a async development agent which will tackle bugs, small feature requests, and other software engineering tasks with direct export to GitHub. मतलब you don't have to now create a PR as well. You tell Jules, PR बनाओ, ये फाइल है, इसमें ये इशू है, सॉल्व इट. मतलब जिसको नहीं आता वो रोते बैठेगा कि भाई मेरा जॉब ही चला जा रहा है. So here you just have to give it the repository and you just have to give it the branch and give it what is the task that you want it to be done. So Jules is one such famous thing that I have heard of. And the next thing is continual learning. Continual learning is that models that improve over time and adapt to new data without retraining from scratch. ChatGPT does that only. It does not retrain from scratch. If you see, it retrains on a yearly based data. If you now if you go, I think by June, July, it will be trained on 2024 data. Then by next year, it will be trained on 2025 data. It's not being trained from scratch again. It already has been trained and it will be given the training data on the data that is from the last year. So, okay, that was the thing that we talked about. What's next? Now, as a developer and as a open source enthusiast, I always think of going with open source platforms because at the end there are some products which has to be paid to get the features done. But why go for a paid feature where you can get anything and everything open source? You just need to have a good laptop or a good processor to process all those things. And when it comes to open source, Olama is the best thing. So we have examples over here. For open source, we have Llama and Mistral, and proprietary are GPT-4 and Gemini. Talking about the transparency, in open source model, we have the full access to the weights, like how much we want to train, how much we want to have the samples, how much we want to customize it. We can do that. Whereas in GPT or Gemini and proprietary, it's like a closed box. It will be trained and it will be trained based on the data that they have, based on the weights that they want to put. In open source, it's can be fine-tuned and it can be self-hosted. It's like based on the use cases, based on the budget that you have, you can self-host the open source models. For GPT, it's not self-hosted, it's hosted by OpenAI and it has very limited options. The best thing over here is open source model are fully local options. It's like you can actually run an entire LLM right on your laptop. You don't need GPU, you don't need TPU. You just need a good laptop which actually works and you can have Olama integrated in your projects as well. For talking about data privacy in proprietary models, it also depends on the cloud vendor. Because whenever we do an API key, whenever we send a request, all the processing is done on the cloud. And when we talk about cloud, we know like the pricing goes very high. It's like when, if you go for AWS, if you go for any others, the pricing goes very high. But everything has a pros and cons. When we go for open source, it needs infrastructure investment. You need to have something invested. Let's say if you are running it on Mac or you are running Llama on Mac, okay, it will run smoothly. But if you are running Llama on, let's say, an HP laptop, which is having 8 GB RAM, the laptop will start heating itself so much that your other processes may crash. For proprietary, the performance is high performance as we see, which is hosted on GPT and Gemini, and it is out of the box. Some of the examples that we have over here is OpenLlama, which is OLlama, which was introduced by Meta, Mistral and Falcon. For proprietary, we have GPT-4, Claude, and Gemini. And honestly, I have been using both of these, but the way I liked this one is I can actually train it based on my use case. I had initially, like it was I think 3 4 months back, where I had created a project which will help me generate a commit message for my GitHub commits. As a developer, what happens is I create GitHub projects, I check in the code over there, but sometimes I don't know what the commit message should be. So what I did, I gave the files that are changed as the input context to the LLM. That okay, the context is given. Based on the input context, based on the files that are changed, then it gives me a commit message. It's just that you have to integrate or install firstly Olama on your laptop and integrate it over there. So before ending the session, I would just like to end it with a quote that I personally believe a lot. That the beautiful thing about learning is that no one is going to take it from you. It's just that it's you versus you. It's like you don't need to see yourself as a competition to other. It's always the man or the woman right in front of the mirror. So yeah, thank you so much for being patient and listening to me.